When you close your eyes at night, you do not simply sink into rest or slip into darkness. You cross into a realm far older than your birth, a realm that will continue long after you are gone. Most people see sleep as nothing more than a physical demand, a cycle of the body that must be respected, yet seldom explored. For me, it has always been more than rest. It is a passage, a threshold, an initiation into that domain where the grip of the waking mind weakens, where the gates of the unconscious open wide, and the strict guards of reason fall silent. It is within this twilight territory that the soul begins to perceive. And what it perceives is unsettling, not because it is wicked, but because the waking intellect is afraid of it. You see, the psyche carries its own light, and in sleep that inner light uncovers images too ancient, too raw, too untamed for the daylight world to bear. A dream is not a useless echo of the day's events. It is an oracle, written in the living script of symbols. And these symbols are not yours alone, they are older than your family line, older than your culture, older even than humanity itself. They rise from what I call the collective unconscious, that vast underworld where the archetypes dwell, the timeless patterns of existence. When you sleep, your soul enters their domain. At times they greet you as a guest, at times they confront you as if you were trespassing. They know whether you seek truth or merely escape. The soul cannot deceive them, for they are the architects of its foundation. The unconscious is not a mere storehouse of memories buried and forgotten, it is a living system, intelligent in its own right, with purposes and directions that may oppose the desires of the conscious mind. In the daytime you may ignore it, suppress it, drown it out with distraction. But in sleep, you stand alone before it. It speaks, and you cannot easily turn away. The dream is its voice. The images you witness there are its language, symbols that bypass logic, bypass even ordinary emotion, and strike directly at the root of your being. That is why they often feel charged with a strange, undeniable power, not like imagination, but as though you were shown something real, even if it arrives clothed in impossibility. You must understand, the soul, in its nightly wandering, is not bound to the narrow timeline of your personal life. It moves through time as the wind moves through valleys, touching all that has been and all that could ever be. In a dream, you may walk through an ancient city your eyes have never seen, yet every stone feels strangely familiar. You may speak a language you have never studied, yet the words flow from your mouth as though you have always known them. This is because the dream draws from the deep memory of the human species itself, the inheritance of countless generations that have shaped the architecture of the psyche. In this way, sleep becomes a sacred voyage into the hidden library of humanity's soul. But there is something more, something both wondrous and dangerous. In dreams, the boundaries of your own soul dissolve. The unconscious is not a private island, it is an ocean. The ego, in waking life, is like a small boat floating upon its surface. But when you sleep, you slip beneath the waves. There, in the depths, unseen currents connect you with every living being. You may dream another person's grief, or share in another person's joy. You may meet a shadow that is not your own, yet it gazes at you as if it has always been waiting. This is the mystery of the psyche's interconnection. What you witness in sleep is not always yours, but it always has something to teach you. The forbidden vision begins when the soul is finally ready to face what it has long kept hidden. Not every dream reaches this depth. Most are veils, rehearsals, symbolic disguises. But sometimes, the mask falls away. Sometimes a dream strikes with such clarity that you wake trembling, your heart racing, your body drenched in sweat, as though you have survived an initiation. You may not find words for it, yet you know something within you has shifted. A truth has been shown, perhaps about your destiny, perhaps about an old wound, perhaps about the very fabric of reality itself. Yet in the daylight, the intellect rushes in to dismiss it, to file it away as coincidence or fantasy. This is the ego's defense, for such visions are not meant for the timid. They are for those willing to let the voice of the soul rise above the chatter of the mind. The symbols of these visions are rarely gentle. They often appear as the shadow, that aspect of yourself you avoid, reject, or despise. In dreams, the shadow may wear the face of a stranger, a monster, a dead relative, or even a trusted friend turned threatening. Its presence unsettles you because it reveals what you have refused to integrate. Yet the shadow is not evil. It is the unacknowledged truth of your being. When the soul sees it in sleep, it does not come to frighten, it comes to invite you into wholeness. But integration is never painless, and that is why so many wake from such dreams uneasy. The truth asks something of you, and truth is never light to carry. Another frequent figure within the forbidden vision is the anima or animus, the inner image of the opposite sex within the psyche. These archetypes appear in dreams to reconnect you with the forgotten halves of your soul, the parts that balance and complete you. The anima may come as a mysterious woman, offering guidance or temptation. The animus may appear as a powerful man, challenging you to face your fears. They are not mere fantasies of romance, they are inner guides on the path of the soul's evolution. To dismiss them is to cut yourself off from half of your own psychic energy. To welcome them is to move closer to the self, the archetype of wholeness that unites all opposites. And then there is the awe-filled, sometimes overwhelming appearance of the self itself. In dreams, it may come as a radiant mandala, a divine child, a luminous being, or even as blinding light. To encounter it is to glimpse the organizing principle of your existence, the axis around which conscious and unconscious revolve. Many cannot endure such visions for long. They overwhelm the ego, shattering its illusions of control. Yet what remains is a profound peace, a sense that something infinitely wise resides at the center of your life, guiding you even when you do not understand. It is not achieved through technique or sheer will. They arrive only when the time is right, when the inner journey has ripened enough for you to bear them. But you can prepare yourself. You can learn to listen to your dreams with reverence, as one would listen to an elder telling the forgotten story of your origins. Write them down. Reflect on them. Carry them with you as companions instead of curiosities. By doing so, you signal to the unconscious that you are ready to be its student. And when it trusts you, it will open doors that were once guarded. Yet you must also be willing to walk in darkness. Dreams rarely explain themselves directly. They wrap their truth in riddles, in images that resist the sharp edge of reason. This is not to frustrate you, but to draw you into dialogue. A dream does not hand you an answer, it invites you into participation. You must wander through its landscapes, touch its symbols, and ask them what they want from you. At times, an answer comes quickly, even in the same night. At other times, it may take years before the meaning finally reveals itself. Such is the work of the soul, unfolding in its own seasons. I have met many who are afraid of their dreams, who dismiss them because they appear strange or disturbing. Yet it is often the disturbing dream that matters most. Such dreams shake the foundations of the conscious mind, forcing it to expand. In waking life, you can evade your fears for decades. In dreams, you are confronted with them directly. And if you dare to stand your ground, you discover they are not what they seemed. Behind the monstrous mask, there is often a wounded part of yourself, longing to be seen, waiting to be healed. This is why I call the soul's vision in sleep forbidden. Not because an outside authority has banned it, but because you yourself have exiled it from awareness. Yet there is another dimension to this mystery. The dream does not only reveal the state of your own psyche, it can also reflect the condition of the world. Dreams sometimes reveal the archetypal currents shaping history, the collective forces that ripple beneath the surface of an age. Great upheavals in society are often preceded by a flood of similar dream images in many individuals. These collective dreams are like tremors before an earthquake, the soul sensing the movement of forces far larger than itself. The dreamer, in such moments, becomes a witness to history unfolding first in the invisible realm before it breaks into the visible. It is not limited to the human sphere. The unconscious is woven into the very fabric of existence itself. It is not only a human faculty, it is the echo of the cosmos within the mind. This is why dreams sometimes speak with the voice of the animal, the forest, the river, or the stars. They remind you that you are not separate from creation, that the same archetypes shaping your inner life also shape the world around you. To dream of the great tree, the cosmic mountain, the serpent, or the bird of fire, these are not private fantasies. They are encounters with the universal powers that move through all of life. For this reason, in my own work I have treated dreams as sacred texts. They are scriptures not written by human hands, but by the deep mind, by the eternal self. To honor them is to honor the infinite within you. To neglect them is to turn away from your own source. Yet the ego resists, for to follow the wisdom of the dream is to step into the unknown, to release the illusion of control. And yet, in that surrender lies the possibility of transformation, the alchemy by which the fragmented soul becomes whole. And so we descend further into the river of night, where the current grows stronger and the images gather an authority you cannot deny. It is here that the forbidden vision takes on its most striking form, when the soul does not merely watch, but participates. You may find yourself in a place that is not a place, a realm woven of memory, prophecy, and myth, where every object seems alive with intent. The walls may breathe, the ground may throb like a heartbeat, and the air itself may whisper secrets meant only for you. This is not delusion in the pathological sense, it is a direct encounter with the imaginal, the dimension where psyche and world interlace without boundary. You might dream of standing at the edge of an immense forest, its trees impossibly tall, their roots entwined with the bones of forgotten beings. A figure approaches from the shadows, human, animal, or something in between. It speaks without words, yet you understand. This is a messenger of the unconscious, a guide or a trickster, depending on what you most need. If you follow, the dream deepens. If you turn away, it shifts shape, confronting you again from another angle. The unconscious does not abandon its message, it adapts its mask until you are ready to hear. At times, what you see feels like a memory from another life. You may wander through the ruins of a civilization never recorded in history, yet every detail feels familiar. You may gaze into the eyes of someone unknown, and feel centuries of connection between you. This is the soul's ability to move beyond linear time. Dreams compress past, present, and future into a single space, revealing that the psyche's true home is not the calendar, but eternity. There are nights when the vision grows darker, not out of malice, but out of sheer gravity. You may find yourself descending into a cavern with no end in sight, walking for hours through passageways carved by unseen hands. The air is heavy, thick with the scent of earth and something older than earth. At last, you come upon a pool of black water. Leaning over, you expect to see your own reflection. Instead, another face gazes back, unfamiliar, yet it knows you completely. This is the confrontation with the deep shadow, the place where every instinct, fear, and desire you have cast away still lives. To meet it in a dream is to be reminded that you are more than the mask you wear in daylight. These encounters are rarely gentle. They tear open the thin veil between who you think you are and what you truly are. The forbidden vision is not always beautiful, but it is always sacred. It arrives with the raw weight of truth, and truth is never concerned with your comfort. Many wake from such dreams unsettled, shaken, even afraid. But the dream does not come to destroy you. It comes to strip away the illusions that keep you small. If you dare to look again, if you dare to face the figure in that black water, you will find an unexpected ally. For the shadow, once acknowledged, becomes a source of power, creativity, and resilience unlike anything you have ever known. Yet the dream does not only descend, it also ascends. Just as you may be led into the underworld of shadow, you may also be lifted into visions of radiant light. Suddenly you are standing on a mountain whose peak touches the stars. The air is thin, luminous, filled with a silence so complete that it feels alive. From this height, you see the vast order of existence, rivers winding like silver threads, forests breathing as one organism, cities glowing like constellations on the earth. And above it all, the heavens unfold, not as empty space, but as a living presence. This is the soul's encounter with the self in its highest form. It may appear as a mandala, a radiant child, a temple not built by hands, or pure light beyond image. In that moment, you feel whole, not because your wounds have vanished, but because you see they belong to a greater design. The ego cannot sustain this vision for long. It is overwhelmed by the immensity of what it beholds. And yet, even when the dream fades, something remains. A quiet certainty that you are guided, that your life participates in a mystery infinitely larger than itself. These are the dreams you carry with reverence for years. You may not fully grasp their meaning, yet you know they are true, truer than the shifting illusions of waking life. They are not fantasies. They are revelations. But visions of light and shadow are not given without purpose. Each carries a demand: change. The dream does not come to entertain, it comes to transform. If you ignore its message, it will return again, reshaped, more insistent, until you finally turn your face toward it. Transformation, however, is rarely gentle. To integrate what the unconscious reveals often feels like a death. Old beliefs crumble. Habits that once defined you fall away. The person you thought you were begins to dissolve. It is no wonder that so many resist this path, clinging to the safety of familiar illusions. Yet in that breaking lies the seed of new life. Just as the alchemists once spoke of turning lead into gold, so too does the psyche use dreams to transmute the heavy, unprocessed matter of the soul into something radiant. Night after night, the unconscious offers you pieces of yourself, sometimes wrapped in beauty, sometimes in terror, but always with the aim of making you whole. To reject this work is to live half asleep, drifting on the surface of existence. To accept it is to enter the slow, demanding labor of becoming who you truly are. This is why I call the dream the forbidden vision. It shows you the truth you wish to avoid, but also the truth that can set you free. Do not think this path belongs only to mystics or scholars. The forbidden vision belongs to every soul. The peasant in his hut, the child in her sleep, the old woman by the fire, all receive the same nightly gift. The unconscious does not recognize wealth or status, it speaks in the universal tongue of symbol, to anyone who will listen. And yet, most dismiss it. They rise in the morning, brush aside the dream as nonsense, and return to the familiar theater of waking life. In doing so, they throw away a scripture written for them alone, a map of their inner journey, drawn freshly each night. Those who choose to honor it walk a different path. Slowly, their relationship with themselves deepens. They discover that within them lives not only memory, but myth, not only personal desire, but cosmic pattern. Each dream becomes a thread, and in time, those threads weave into a tapestry that reveals the shape of their destiny. To walk with your dreams is to live twice. Once in the visible world of daylight, and once in the hidden world of the soul. And it is in the dialogue between these two worlds that transformation unfolds. There are those who fear that to give weight to dreams is to lose one's grip on reality. But the opposite is true. To neglect the dream is to live half-blind, severed from the roots of your own being. To attend to the dream is not to abandon reality, but to deepen it, to see that the visible world is only the outer skin of a far greater mystery. Civilizations before us knew this well. They built temples aligned with the stars because they understood that human life is interwoven with the cosmos. They recorded dreams as oracles, consulted them in times of crisis, and honored them as messages from the divine. We moderns, in our hunger for reason and control, have dismissed this wisdom. We call the dream irrational and cast it aside as if it were noise. Yet in doing so, we silence the very voice that could guide us back to balance. For the dream is not opposed to reason, it completes it. Logic gives you structure, the dream gives you depth. The mind charts the surface of the sea. The dream plunges into its depths. Together they reveal the whole. To walk only with reason is to live as a shadow of yourself. To walk with both reason and dream is to live as a soul. So I return to the beginning, the forbidden vision of the soul in sleep. Forbidden not because the cosmos withholds it, but because we ourselves turn away. We fear what we might see if we looked too deeply, yet it is precisely in that vision that our wholeness waits. Every night, the threshold opens. You cross into a world where the masks of waking life dissolve, and the truth of your being rises to meet you in image, symbol, and story. Some nights the vision is gentle, some nights it is fierce, and some nights it is more than you feel you can bear. But always it comes for the same reason, to draw you toward yourself, toward the mystery from which you were born. If you learn to honor these visions, you will find that you are never truly alone. The unconscious walks beside you, shaping your journey, guiding your steps, whispering truths that your waking mind has forgotten. This is the gift and the burden of being human, to carry within you not only a mind, but a soul that dreams. To deny it is to live in exile from yourself. To embrace it is to awaken to the vastness of who you are. The dream waits. The vision waits. The question is only this: will you dare to see?